Memo author Qin Dao real name, Tran Triet, 1938, is a famous Taiwanese female writer and screenwriter. Famous for her romantic, touching novels, often exploring love, family, and the fate of women, the work was adapted into a TV series, creating a fever in China, Vietnam, and throughout Asia. Books. The work Hoàn Châu Cách Cách. Original Chinese title, first published in the late 1990s, then adapted into an extremely popular TV series, aired in 1998. Hoàn Châu Cách Cách, a famous work by writer Qin Dao. Open book summary of content. The story revolves around two young girls. Ha Ziwei, the daughter of a concubine of King Qianlong, lived far away from her father since childhood, and was raised by her mother in poverty. After her mother passed away, Ziwei and her best friend Qianlong went to the capital to find her father. Qianlong, an orphaned girl, strong, free-spirited, and mischievous. In an incident, she replaced Ziwei as Princess Hoàn Châu, the daughter of King Qianlong. From then on, Qianlong was appointed Cách Cách, princess, living in the palace with countless funny and sad situations. Meanwhile, Ziwei silently endured her true identity. The story interweaves friendship, love, with Nhi Kang, Nguaca, the truth about identity and palace incidents, ultimately aiming for justice and happiness for the two girls. Clapperboard. Outstanding features. Combining humor, touching, romance. Characters are unique, close, and easy to sympathize with. The film adaptation, 1998, starring Triu Vy, Lam Tam Nu, To Hu Bang, and Chow Kiet made the work become an Asian cultural phenomenon. Story introduction. The story begins with a trip from Taiwan to Beijing. Female writer Qin Dao was taken to visit the site of Princess Part. Legend has it that this is where a princess was buried, the adopted daughter, of Emperor Qianlong. Although she was a princess, because she did not have royal blood, when she died, this princess was not buried in the royal cemetery. However, no one knows who this princess was, what her full name was. The site of Princess Part has now become a subway station in Beijing. The story of a commoner girl who was adopted by the emperor and loved dearly haunted Qin Dao, so after many years of not writing, she sat down at her desk and wrote the script for Princess. The character Qianlong is the image of the princess from the past. It can be said that Qianlong is the most impressive character in Qin Dao's career as a screenwriter. Through Zhao Wei's acting, this crazy princess became even more famous. In her fictional story, Qin Dao also created a related character, Ha Ziwei, the illegitimate child of King Qianlong, with a personality opposite to Qianlong, who was also very loved by the audience. Thought to be just characters on the script page, in the narrow frame of the small screen, unexpectedly not long ago, on the internet appeared a few old photos taken during the Qing dynasty showing that Princess Hoàn Châu, i.e. Qianlong, Hoàn Châu Cách Cách, and Princess Minqiao, i.e. Ha Ziwei, Cách Cách, were real. Hoàn Châu Cách Cách. Chapter 1, Beijing. During the reign of King Qianlong, Ziwei and the young lady Kim Toa had been in Beijing for nearly a month now, and the two of them came to the front gate of the Forbidden City every day, standing there, staring at this magnificent citadel. The tall red walls, with large closed doors, outside were guards in armor, fully armed, to keep watch, making it impossible to get in. Above were red fish scale tiled roofs from roof to roof. The citadel was very large. Many times Vy wondered if the imperial palace was a holy land, a forbidden place, or just an illusion. A place that could only be seen, but not reached. Vy stood there hesitantly. She knew that there was no way, no method to enter there, let alone meet the person she wanted to find. And so, the mission she had to carry out was almost hopeless. But before that, Vy had already promised her mother. When her mother was about to close her eyes, Vy solemnly promised, and it was also because she wanted to fulfill that promise that Vy sold all her assets, her house in Jinan, to come to this splendid Beijing. Vy did not regret what she had done, because the sad song her mother often sang, kept ringing in her ears. The mountains are so far away, the rivers are so far away. The rivers and mountains are so far away. Waiting and waiting, waiting and waiting. Day after day, waiting has become tiring. Then. No. I must do everything, by all means, to get there. At that time, Tu Vy was only 18, still too young. So all her thoughts were very innocent. Simple. Tu Vy's childhood grew up in the arms, in the full love of her mother. She was raised by her mother, taught by her mother and had very little contact with the surroundings, so all the knowledge she had was almost only passed down by her mother, so Tu Vy did not have any idea about the complexity of life. Although the servant Kim Toa was a loyal servant, she was almost a year younger than her, so she could not help her at all. It was also because Vy's knowledge was all acquired through books, that Vy thought everything was simple. One time, by chance, she passed by an agency called Tai Thuong Tu, the place in charge of the royal court's rituals. It was Vy who thought this was the right place to knock on the door, to meet the person she needed to meet, but how could she know that the official in this office was a man who was not a Mandarin? His name was Luong Dinan. A person who was almost always absent from the gate. That was why, several times, Vy brought Kim Toa there, asking to enter was refused by the gatekeeper, saying that Luong Dinan was busy and away today. Until one day, Vy heard that Luong Dinan's palanquin would pass Non Din Bridge today. So she was determined to go out and stop the palanquin to carry out her intention. The roads that day were as busy as every other day. Tu Vy and Kim Toa stood on the side of the road, looking around. In her hand she still held a bundle. In that bundle were two things that Vy valued more than her own life. Because of it, a woman, Vy's mother, had to live by the shore of Diamond Lake all her life, wasting her youth. Tu Vy stood there, waiting with restlessness and frustration. The stream of people kept rushing back and forth. Whoever passed by had a destination and a place to wait. As for her, she was almost blind. Passers-by, some of whom had already passed by, still turned back to look at Vy and her teacher, because in fact, Tu Vy was quite pretty, even though her men's clothes were simple and not elaborate. But her big eyes with long, sad eyelashes, her skin as white as milk. Her noble style with the young girl Kim Toa beside her. The teacher and her student were like two flowers in spring. How could they not attract attention? The street was bustling, the stream of people continued to flow. Suddenly, that normal bustle seemed to be broken to become noisier than before. There was the sound of horses rushing. Then at the end of the street appeared a group of horsemen with flags, with the big words "Keep away, be strict," followed by Lord Liang's palanquin with 2 rows of guards on both sides. They were going towards her, noisily. Wherever the horses went, the officials shouted loudly, "Get out of the way! Get out of the way! No one is allowed to block Lord Liang's path! Get out of the way!" Tu Vy was excited, nervous because her goal was about to be achieved. She quickly said to Kim Toa, "Our chance has come. Kim Toa, you stand here and wait for me to stop the palanquin." Tu Vy finished speaking and squeezed into the crowd. Kim Toa was uneasy and ran after her. The cavalry had arrived, because the street was crowded, so they had to slow down. Tu Vy and Kim Toa took the opportunity to squeeze in. She quickly walked to the front of the palanquin and knelt down. Both hands raised the basket. "Lord Liang! Lord Liang! I have an important matter to discuss with Liang Daren. Please! Your Excellency, get off the palanquin, give me some time to explain." "Liang Daren! Liang Daren!" Because the palanquin was blocked, it stopped. The official in the palanquin seemed annoyed. "Who is it? How dare you block the palanquin? Pull it out! Go away! If you have any problems, report them to the official's office tomorrow." The entourage of officials also spoke up. This made Kim Toa angry. She said loudly, "We have been to the official's office several times, but they kept saying that the official did not come to work. Liang Daren is not there. How can we meet him?" One of the entourage rolled his eyes. "Our Liang Daren will marry a wife for his son tomorrow," he is very busy. Very busy. He will not do anything this month. If you want to see him next month. Xia Ziwei heard this and became even more worried. She grabbed the palanquin and said loudly, Lord Liang! Lord Liang! If there was no important matter, I would have had no choice but to block your palanquin. I have a reason for doing this outrageous thing. Please take a moment and listen to my explanation. Please look at these things. The official in the palanquin stuck his head out and said loudly, Humph! Which scoundrel dares to block my palanquin? And they are still speaking so loudly and rudely. Don't you want to live any more? Xia Ziwei, seeing that Lord Liang was willing to show his face, tried to turn around. Lord Liang! Lord Liang! Listen to me, I am sure you will not feel that your efforts were in vain. Please give me a little time, just a little. But Lord Liang coldly said, Who has time to listen to your story? And turning to his entourage, he shouted, Why are you wasting time? Why don't you clean up so that the palanquin can return to the palace soon? Then he immediately turned back to the palanquin. The palanquin was lifted up. The group of people and horses continued their journey. Xia Ziwei and Jinsuo were pushed to the side of the road. The crowd standing nearby saw this and quickly stepped forward to help the two people up. An old man shook his head and sighed, saying, There's no use in blocking the palanquin when there's an injustice. Why not find someone to take care of it? Isn't it easier? Xia Ziwei was helped up, her mind still dizzy. Jinsuo stood nearby, unable to hide his indignation. This Liang Duren only cares about his son's marriage, but he took a month off work. How can we meet him like this? Miss, our money is running out, if this continues, it will be gone. This Liang Duren is really inhumane, I can't believe it. Or should we ask someone else to help? Another person standing nearby shook his head and said, The lords in this world are all the same. There is no good hand. While Xia Ziwei kept looking at the palanquin procession getting further and further away in disappointment, she reached behind her back to check if the sack was still there or not, then sighed. But a thought flashed through her mind. Vi brushed off the dust on her shirt and said to Kim Toa, Don't be discouraged so soon, Kim Toa. I'm sure I'll find another way to meet Luang Dinan again. As long as I can't meet him, I'll find another way. And then, as if suddenly remembering something, Vi said happily, I heard that tomorrow Luang Dinan's family is holding a wedding party, right? They must invite a lot of guests. Kim Toa didn't understand what her master was saying, and asked, Miss, you mean? To Vi interrupted. Just prepare a gift for me, tomorrow we'll go to Luang's mansion for the wedding. To Vi didn't know that her decision would also decide her fate. Because on that wedding day she would meet a girl. That girl's name was Tu Yen. Tuesday. Little Yanzi was not a big shot in Beijing, but just a tiny grain of sand in the crowded crowd of the splendid capital. That year, she was also just 18 years old. And on the day that Xia Ziwei stopped Liang Duren's palanquin, that night Yanzi showed off her profession of climbing walls and digging holes in the wall. That was her main occupation. The reason was that tomorrow the Liang family would hold a wedding banquet. And like that, the gifts and offerings would certainly not be small. Today, Yanzi had to go to the bride's house first, scout out the situation, see where the valuable items were. Where to put them, to act, Yanzi thought. Marrying into the Liang family would certainly require a lot of wedding gifts. So Yanzi probed each point. But when she arrived at the bride's room, Yanzi suddenly heard a very tragic cry. Yanzi curiously dug a small hole and looked in. As soon as she put her eyes on the hole, she was startled and pale. Oh my God, the bride was standing on a chair, sticking her head into the ring, intending to hang herself. And Yen too forgot her intention, she pushed the door open and jumped into the room. While running towards the bride, she shouted loudly, Hey people! Come in! Come in! The bride is planning to hang herself. That day, Luang Mansion was holding a bustling wedding party. There were many guests. That day, Tu Vy was also present. But disguised as a scholar. Kim Toa transformed into a young boy. This disguise was quite common for them, so they were used to it. Although neither of them looked much like boys. The wedding ceremony was held very grandly, with many guests like a festival, so the presence of Vy and his student did not make anyone suspicious. Amidst the loud drums and trumpets, the bride's palanquin was carried into the groom's hall. Tu Vy still waited patiently. Waiting for the bride and groom to pay homage to heaven, earth, and ancestors, then go into the bridal chamber before making a decision. And when the ceremony was over, when Liang Duren stepped down from Cao Duong, with his son, his face beaming, happily greeted the guests. Not missing the opportunity, Vy quickly blended into the crowd and squeezed closer to Liang Duren. Liang Duren! Tu Vy grabbed Liang Duren's sleeve and called, surprising him. You are? Tu Vy quickly said. Yes, my family name is Ha, my name is Tu Vy, I have something to bother you, could you spare me a few minutes? I'm so busy. What for? At that moment, Liang Duren's son brought an old man over and pushed Tu Vy aside. Father! Triu Duren is here. Liang Duren enthusiastically walked to welcome the guests, but Vy did not let go, following behind, saying with a bit of reproach. Liang Duren, when I got to the gate, I did not meet you, and when I got to your private house, I was not received by you, could it be that you do not care a little about the pain of the people? Liang Duren turned around in surprise, even more surprised when he saw clearly that this was a girl disguised as a man. Whose daughter are you that you dress so strangely? Go! 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 Go somewhere else to play. The women and girls are all treated in the flower garden over there. You just go there, don't follow behind me, it's too much trouble. Don't you remember who I am? The girl who blocked your palanquin yesterday was me. Xia Ziwei. Liang Duren was even more surprised. What? You dare to mix in here?